Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshops. Today's pro tip is talking about how to forge clean. Now, this is going to be showing you some techniques that you can use to improve the overall surface finish of your work without really adding a whole lot or spending hours at the grinder or things like that. There's no special tricks here. It's just a few things that usually gets overlooked in the blacksmith shop and instruction. So, one of the biggest ways that you can keep your work clean is get rid of the scale that is laying around on your anvil. The scale that's laying around on your anvil has already cooled off, and so therefore is a hardened piece of material. Now it's hard relatively to the soft material that you're about to lay on it and beat the heck out of it into it. So that will impregnate itself into your steel, and then it'll flake back off, and it'll leave a really rough pitted surface. So once the scale is cool on the anvil, keep the anvil surface clean as you can. Second trick, make sure that your hammer faces are fairly clean. They don't have to be astoundingly polished, but it does help if they're a nice satin, maybe 400 or 600 grit finish. Same thing with your anvil face. If you can keep them nice and clean, free of nicks and chips and marks and dots and things of that nature, punch marks and whatnot, you are going to have a much better time at it. So my third tip here is stop all the wire brushing and get your work done. Start hammering on it. You're going to notice that the scale is basically falling off. If you're hitting the piece with some sort of vigor, most of the scale will find itself popping out and away from the piece of the material that's be hitting. So right here, there's no scale underneath this piece. But right around the piece, there's a ton of scale. That's because I'm hitting it with enough force that that kinetic energy is blowing off that scale. It's blowing that scale to the left, to the right, and to the forward, and to the aft of the piece. That's what you want. So that's the third tip there. Keep that anvil clean. The fourth tip comes into managing your heat. Not every heat needs to be a forging heat. There is specific heats to do specific jobs. For instance, a forging heat is a bright orange to a dull yellow. That's a general forging heat. I go a little higher than that usually when I have a lot of drawing out to do. I go to a light welding heat or a lemon yellow in color. Bending, you don't need it as hot. You can bend it at a bright orange to a duller orange color and get a much more accurate bend on a piece than you would if it was bright yellow. The next heat down from that is what we call a planishing heat, and this is where you start planishing out all your high rises and heavy marks and forge marks from all the heavy drawing out process. That heat comes as you come down and you work to the end of your heat. So I'm finally getting this tip about where I want it. Okay? And now this is in a planishing heat. In this planishing heat, you clear the anvil of scale and you start aiming to start hammering flush with the hammer. You're not trying to draw it out. You're trying to match its surface plane and hit any high spots on the material you see to knock them down into the valleys or to bring them into plane. That's what planish or to planish means. So you want to do that. Now, at this black heat, this is what we would call a cold working heat. This is what you would heat. You would work this piece over now at this heat to make it finally to its truest of sizes. Now, sometimes it is necessary to go back into the anvil, go back into the forge, heat this piece to a planishing heat, planish it out into a black or a cold working heat. This is where we true everything up and we start developing a little bit of a sheen to the piece. At the planishing heat down to the cold working heat, that is when you brush. It is an absolute waste of time to brush any time before then. And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you why in just this next example. So let me get this hot again. Stick with me in this pro tip. I know this is a long one. We've been doing long ones here just a little bit, but I've been getting back into the forge and want to take and get you guys as good information as I can. And I hope you're finding this helpful. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Leave a comment down below what you thought of the video. And if it did help you out, consider going over and checking out our website at blacksmithpdfs.com and maybe picking you up a power hammer plan or some sort of educational e-course to help you run your business in blacksmithing. It helps support the channel and allows us to continue to produce great content like this. So, here's the heat I'm talking about. Let's hit it. You start seeing the scale come off, right? Okay, let's go ahead and brush it. Wait for it. It might be too cold of a heat now. It's at the non-scaling heat. But if I were to hit this a lot again, totally botched that up. But if this was still at a high heat and I just brushed it and I go to hammering on it, it would just throw off more scale. We'll do that one more time so this way I can show it so you don't think I'm full of baloney. As I was saying, go check out blacksmithpdfs.com if you want additional information and resources. We greatly appreciate it. Ooh, excuse me. And every dollar that goes to support this channel. And we thank all of our loyal subscribers. You all have been amazing. So we'll get this up nice and hot. Again, this time all I'm going to do, I'm not going to hit it, I'm just going to brush it fiercely like you see people do. Okay? It's got scale on it, it's got forging dust and whatnot. Hopefully you guys can see that scale form. We're going to brush it like crazy. Okay? We're going to brush it. And now, we're going to watch that scale come right back. Hopefully y'all can see that. That scale is just coming right back. Now as soon as I hit it, what do I have? I have more scale. Why does this happen? The reason why this happens is because that scale is an oxide layer. It is creating an iron oxide layer that is protecting the steel from further scaling. It scales up to that point and it stops oxygen from interacting with the new surface of the material. As soon as you hit that scale or you hit it with a brush or pop it off or anything like that, it starts forming new scale right in its place. That oxygen starts interacting with the bare metal, the clean material, and boom, you get another oxide layer formed, which is scale. So, hammering at any point, brushing at any point in this forging operation will not produce you any cleaner results. Having proper heat control, using the right kinds of heats for the operations that you're using, starting with a clean anvil face, a nice solid flat anvil face, a nice clean hammer face, and using the hammer blows properly in the correct order of the heats, you will get a lot cleaner surface finish without ever even using a brush. So I hope this helps you. As always, God bless you, and we will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.